So I went back to watch my own video and I totally forgot to talk about Legarius Sneed. He is on the open market. Now, there's reports out saying if he can't find a long-term deal that fits his liking, the Chiefs will use a franchise tag, but they're giving him an opportunity to find a long-term deal that fits him. Now, Eagles must make the call just to do their due diligence, see what he want, because he is a game changer. And if we could get him, get him. And by the way, he went to Louisiana Tech, which I didn't know. You know, Boston Scott and Milton Williams went there. And they both are making the call to Legarius Sneed. Like, yo, come to Philly. Now, I must say, if Legarius Sneed come to Philly, we got to sign Boston Scott back, man. He's doing the recruiting. So, in all seriousness, man, Legarius Sneed is a difference maker. And if we could get him, get him. If not, it's cool. But, yeah, man, he's different. He's different. Even Milton Williams, you know, he sent the eye emojis. Like, yeah, y'all being a little nosy, but he's probably making that call. So let's get Legarius Sneed to Philadelphia, and him posting that Eagles pick might, it might meant something. Probably meant something. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This is Eagle Owl, and today I will be talking about Eagles players recruiting Legarius Sneed. Also, we got to talk about Nick Sirianni, Howie Roseman speaking, and Howie Roseman sent the cryptic message. And lastly, the bad reports out there about Nick Sirianni. But let's get straight into it. All right, so let's talk about the bad reporting on Nick Sirianni. It's out there. Shout out to Marcus Hayes. Marcus Hayes is going to do Marcus Hayes things. But when players want to approach him one-on-one, he gets quiet. But he wrote a whole article. Of course, he knew Nick and how he was going to be at the combine. And he decided to drop this article just before, they interview or press at the combine. And basically the article, just to sum up, he talked to some veteran guys and how Nick Sirianni and these guys play favoritism. Like, they would not chastise AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, but they had chastised the young players. They even used the example of if a guy like Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis said anything or did anything, it was a problem. But Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham could get away with anything. They used that. Or if anybody else on the line said anything like Jordan Mailata or Landon Dickerson, but if it was like Jason Kelsey or Lane Johnson, they'd get away with it. Well, to me, that sounds like normal politics. I'm sorry. It does. Yes, the young guys get more chastised than the older guys. That's been happening forever. If that's the case, don't cry about it. Don't be a baby about it. It is what it is, in my opinion. Now, do I believe any of this? Somewhat I don't, because again, he don't really address the players with these articles. He just put them out there, and when the players want to address Marcus Hayes, he backs away. It's like, again, if it's true, it's Jason Kelsey, bro. It's Lane Johnson, bro. What are we talking about? It's Fletcher Cox, bro. It's Brandon Grant. I just named Super Bowl winning guys who still play at a high level. I'm sorry. The other guys got to earn their respect. It is what it is. Jalen Hurts, all pro, took you to a Super Bowl. AJ Brown changed culture when he got here and getting paid $25 million a year. I'm sorry. If that's the case, I'm sorry. I am. That comes with it. I'm still a young guy, but I work in corporate America. Managers used to be on my back the first year in corporate America. Now I'm like 6-7 years in. My full name, Al Kabir. Okay, you could get away with that. Okay, you could do this. Oh, you need more vacation days? Because I showed loyalty to the company. So, of course, I probably get more vacation days. Of course, the manager might be more lenient towards me now. Because now I'm somewhat of a veteran now. That comes with it. If you're a veteran playing at a high level and been with the organization for years, That happens. I'm sorry. It does, but I don't think that's no reason to break up a locker room. But now let's get into the meat and potatoes. Howie Roseman spoke and to the I guess to the reporters, I should say, and some things stuck out to me. So this is what he had to say far as what Devontae Smith contract and him staying.
How big of a priority is the timeline extension is on?
Well, Devontae's an incredible person, an incredible player. Obviously, homegrown, young guy. Without getting into specifics, those aren't guys that you really want to leave.
Sound like a guy to me that's gonna stay. Sound like a guy to me that's gonna stay. Of course, you don't want a guy like that leaving the building. I agree with Howie Roseman. The character, the way he is, he's a leader, been a leader all his life, went to a big name school in Alabama, stuck out, playing really well, basically being second fiddle, but anywhere else he's damn near number one. So I gotta give it up to Devontae Smith and Howie Roseman, like basically saying in layman terms, we're gonna pay the guy. But this was the cryptic message to me he sent about Hassan Reddick. But let me go ahead and play this clip.
Obviously, unbelievable player for the Philadelphia Eagles. Local kid, great success story. Camden, Temple, Philly. Love having Hassan. I think that, anything that you're trying to do, you're trying to blend, obviously, what you're trying to do this year and how you're going to look in the future. And I think that's the hardest job. But certainly, don't want to get into any specifics with any conversations with players, but have tremendous respect for the player and the person.
As you see, Hassan Reddick sound like a guy we would like to keep, but at the same time, you got to think about the future. I get it. Hassan Reddick, I don't think we wouldn't beat the 49ers, but what Hassan Reddick did getting to Brock Purdy was amazing. It was amazing. He got him hurt, unfortunately. And Hassan Reddick was a force all through the playoffs. I mean, all through the playoffs, Super Bowl year. Now, Super Bowl, the field was wet, this and that. Nobody couldn't get home to Patrick Mahomes. But all through the playoffs, the Giants and the 49ers, Hassan Reddick was a dog. He was a dog. But we got to be honest, he's 29. He's 29 on a big contract. Business side on his side, I get it. He want one more big contract or a big contract before, he hangs it up. Eagles looking like we got to get younger. You probably don't even fit the system. And that's just the God honest truth. Like how we said, Camden, Temple, Philadelphia Eagles. It's a match made in heaven. But at the same time, you got other guys to pay and you don't want to overpay a guy. So I am honestly on Howie Roseman's side on this one. But there's a lot more stuff Howie Roseman said. I would urge you to check out like the full interview. If nothing really comes out, later or anything like that, I'll probably break more down of the interview. But those are the two things I really took out of this is that the Hassan Reddick, the Devontae Smith actually let me play one more clip that got Eagles Nation mad.
I think he's an outside guy. I think when you look at the skill set there, I think that that was one of the positions that as we got into the summer, we kind of knew we needed some depth there. We gave some guys opportunities to do it. I got to do a better job of bringing in more guys to be able to play that position. I think that's one area that kind of you felt like in August maybe we needed to add. So we tried some guys. But when you look at JB and his history and his success as an outside corner, to ask him to do something, which is a really different position, is hard. Yeah, he's under contract, part of our plans.
That's the last one. James Bradberry looked like he's going to be a part of the Eagles, but what Howie Roseman supposed to say? We looking to trade the guy, or we looking to cut the guy, because cutting him, he will be a cap casualty, because even if you cut him, I think post-June, I think 2025, he'll still be a $10 million cap hit. Honestly, you got to do what you got to do. Even if you got to be an expensive water boy, he got to stay on this team because that contract, unless we find a way to trade him. But ate dead money before, like a lot of it. Like if it's too much of a problem, he did it with Carson Wentz. He will eat dead money. But right now, don't want to do that. See if y'all gonna come at me with this, but if James Bradberry can get back to that same level, because when I say everybody damn near played bad under that last system we had, everybody. If James Bradberry can be a decent corner again, that's a W under Vic Fangio. If he can't, that's fine. Keely Ringo's on the come up. Eli Ritz is on the come up. Maybe you draft another corner. I don't know. But if you could get James Bradberry playing at a decent level, why not? Why not? Unless, like y'all said, he just completely burnt toast. We don't know. We simply don't know. All right, so let's talk about Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni said a couple things. My big thing, I wanted to see what he say about A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. He did speak on Hassan Reddick a little bit. I know he said he want Hassan Reddick to stay around, which all of us do, but we got to see how the business play out. And I think Nick Sirianni answered that well, but he was asked about Jalen Hurts' leadership because that been the question. Jalen Hurts' leadership, and this is what he had to say.
There's not a book that is written on this is how you lead, right? People lead in different ways. And one thing I learned early about in leadership is that you have to be yourself. And because if you lead and you're trying to be somebody you're not, when you lead, then that gets seen through. I mean, that's the same scenario I was put in, when I became the head coach or an offensive coordinator or whatever it was. And everybody has to lead their way. And Jalen has special qualities that people will follow and people will want to follow. And he's got to do what he needs to do to lead in that way. And so some people's leadership style is loud and aggressive. Some people's leadership style is by example, and some is a mixture of both. And so Jalen needs to lead how he needs to lead, right? And AJ needs to lead how he needs to lead. And whoever it is, Slay's got to lead how he needs to lead. And because that's leadership, right? Is being who you are and leading an example. At the end of the day, if you're leading by example, that's a great style of leadership. So Jalen needs to lead how he needs to lead, and I think he's done a great job of doing so.
Let him lead how he lead. He gotta lead how he lead. So Jalen Hurts is a leader, man. I can't believe, out of all things, coming into the NFL, one thing that wasn't questioned about Jalen Hurts, his arm was questioned, how he play on the field, where he transitioned to the NFL. All that stuff was questioned, but his leadership was never questioned. Now he got the skill set. Now he goes to the Super Bowl. Now he's an All-Pro. Now he's doing this and doing that. Just to nitpick, now you're questioning his leadership. And now you're just nitpicking at this point. Jalen Hurts, probably since high school, leadership probably was never questioned. Now we questioning his leadership. Insane to me. It's crazy talk to me. But I like what Nick Sirianni said. Also, this is what Nick Sirianni had to say about A.J. Brown leadership.
Been telling you guys, AJ, like I've been telling you guys for a long time, not only is he one of the best players I've ever been around. He's also one of the best leaders, and he's going to do anything he can do to stick up for his teammates. That's why he wears a C on his chest. And I think that if you're speculating, well, hey, what does it mean if he's yelling over here? Like, everybody doesn't. There's some people that when you're leading them, you yell at them. And there's some people when you're leading them, you put your arm around them. And there's some people, there's somewhere in the middle. And that's leadership also, is just figuring out what buttons to press with different guys. Not every person you don't treat everybody the exact same, right? The standard is what it is, and you hold everybody to that standard, but you don't treat everybody exactly the same of how you get to that standard, how you correct that standard, or how you praise that standard. Everybody's a little bit different. I think, AJ understands that. Like I said, just a great teammate, a great person. In my opinion, best receiver that's been in Philadelphia. And I grew up a Terrell Owens fan, and I grew up Howie says I'm too young to like Mike Quick, but I was a huge Mike Quick fan. And it's pretty cool that I get to do some interviews with him every once in a while. But you look at the stats and you look at what AJ's done in a 2-year span. He's had the 2 most productive years ever as an Eagle wide receiver. And so, man, like when you have one of your best players being also one of your best leaders, that's special.
Leadership styles is different. AJ Brown is, I get in a dude's face. That's his leadership. It is what it is. That's what he do. Media speaking bad about his guys and himself, he's going to approach you. He's not going to hold back. That's who AJ Brown is, and I like it. Jalen Hurts, more of a stoic personality, but a good guy. That just is what it is. Different leadership styles. That's why you had different captains as well. You got AJ Brown, who's a captain. Devontae Smith, who's more laid back as a captain. Jalen Hurts, a captain. Then Jason Kelsey, depending on what he do. Captain, more outspoken. You got different personalities as captains. Even Darius Slay, more goofy and funny, like to joke around as a captain. You got a lot of different personalities as captain, but to push everything on Jalen Hurts or to say AJ Brown is this mean guy, it's just simply not true. But hey, man, what do you think? How do you feel about the news today? How are we feeling, man? Nick Sirianni, Howie Roseman, to me, cryptic message about Hassan Reddick. I could be reaching. You never know. But this is Eagle Owl, man. I'm up.